Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Indee Spotlight. I'm your host, McD. Coming up on the top of this show, we've got a punk rock kind of band, Jim Jones and the Kool-Aid Jammers. They've got a video called Shark Bite. I love the way they have this shot. This video is fun. The song is fun. The band is fun. I hope you really enjoy it. And then we're going to have some more great content coming up on Indee Spotlight. Check it out. Jim Jones, the Kool-Aid Jammers, Shark Bite. Hope you enjoyed that video from Jim Jones and the Kool-Aid Jammers. Coming up now, we've got your Indie Minute and a music video from one of Newfoundland and Labrador's favorite duos, Quote the Raven. Sitting with me today, a good friend of mine, Jordan Coker. How you doing?
Good, man. How's everything?
Oh man, you know I'm still on this side of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Still pushing hard and doing what I can do. Sure. Much like yourself, you're grinding very hard.
Yeah, it's been a weird year, man. Like, you know, thinking about all the stuff that we were doing prior to this was all road stuff, hitting the road, touring, and just having that completely stop was completely life-changing, honestly.
Yeah.
It's just nothing you could prepare for, right? Like, and being musicians, you're prepared for the worst most times anyways. So for us, it was like, this is literally the worst. Like, this is literally the worst thing that could happen. So it was weird.
Yeah. And, you know, the arts industry was hit very hard, but then again, so were very many industries.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You can't get mad or upset at anybody, or you know, it's the way of the world.
So digital-wise, has your strategy changed for getting your music into people's ears, or, you know, how are you dealing with that?
Definitely. Like, I mean, originally where we were touring, we could go out and play to, you know, 25, 50 people a night, and that was great word of mouth, and that's how we got our name out there, like, originally. But yeah, as a result of everything, we've definitely made a bigger focus on getting radio play and satellite radio play and things that we, you know, that were part of the strategy before, but not the main focus. You know, it was something that was kind of spread out amongst everything, but it was like, okay, if we're not spending the $2,000 to go on the road for a couple of weeks, well, let's put that money back into the music and promote it digitally. And it's been good. Like, it's weird because I don't know, like, where we didn't do it before, it's hard to kind of say whether it's an improvement from what it was last time, but we've definitely seen some increases in national radio play and attention, and it's been great.
So that's great. So national play, that's amazing. Do you have any advice for anybody when they're getting ready to put out a single or anything like that? Do you have any insights there? Because you've had some pretty commercial success there.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different stuff. Like, I know for us personally, like, we've got to a stage where we could hire a radio tracker, but you don't necessarily need that. There's distribution sites like YMDS, Yangaroo, YMDS, and you can actually sign up with those guys. And we found out the hard way. We did a Christmas package with them, spent like $1,000 on sending it to every Christmas station. And in fact, you can actually sign up for like a monthly membership of $100. Do as many distributions as you want to as many people as you want, and then cancel your membership.
Oh, okay.
So we found that out the hard way. But there's lots of cool little tips like that. Like, you know, doing up a list of radio contacts and having those available and knowing the story of your song. I think that was really important. For us, Hope, when we wrote the song Hope, it didn't have a connection with COVID. But then, you know, because we had written it prior to everything kind of going down. But then when we went to release the song, it was super pertinent to everything that was going on. And I think our story matched that as well. And so when we did our pitches to radio, that was the thing that people kind of gravitated towards.
That's great. So are you getting played on several stations on Sirius, or is there just a particular station that's playing?
Yeah, just CBC right now, but
Okay.
but you know, we've pitched to a couple and have had some features, like 1 or 2 plays and all that stuff, and it all adds up. Like, honestly, we charted nationally. We were in the top 100 on the country radio BDS charts with 2 singles, which was crazy for us. And I think, yeah, it was a lot to do with like making that strategy and that plan and focusing on each song leading up to a record, but really putting all your work and effort into each single as they come out.
So Jordan, that's great. Any other projects besides Quote the Raven happening right now? Any other co-writes or anything like that happening?
Yeah, I'm always doing co-writes. I always put up a little Facebook status to see if anybody's interested in writing, and you know, even if it's not for the purpose of anything, just to get those muscles, like keep those muscles moving. And just been working on some production stuff. Like I did the monthly course with Ryan Tedder, and I did, you know, learning about how to actually produce like pop music and do things like that, and something that I'd never really delved into before. So I'm excited to keep kind of working on that stuff.
That's really exciting. Yeah, keep your wits about you and stay sharp and keep on writing. And you know, it's amazing to get to find out other people's writing processes.
Yeah.
and you know, pick up tips and tricks and those types of things. So
Definitely.
maybe one day me and you will do a co-write. Who
Definitely.
knows? Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah, wicked. So anyways, I am your host, McD. Thank you very much to Jordan Coker for joining us today. This is Indie Minute on Indee Spotlight. We're coming right back with a music video.
way. Look at us, we haven't aged a day. Hope, I got hope. You will always be there at the end of my rope. As long as I've got you to take this journey on with me. There's nothing else that I could ever need. We got enough gas to keep this tin can on the road. Just enough cash so that the bills pile up at home. And all our friends are busy saving up for rainy days. We wouldn't have this any other way. Hope, I got hope. You will always be there at the end of my rope. As long as I've got you to take this journey on with me. There's nothing else that I could ever need. And all our friends are busy waiting for their rainy day. Oh, hope. Well, I got hope. You will always be there at the end of my rope. As long as I've got you to take this journey on with me. There's nothing else that I can ever hold. I got hope. You will always be there at the end of my rope. As long as I've got you to take this journey on with me. There's nothing else that I can ever need. There is nothing else that I could ever need.
Welcome back to Indee Spotlight. Always great to hear from Jordan and Kirsten from Quote the Raven. Coming up now, we're going into a little bit of a different direction, going back into the hip-hop world with Jyay featuring Gettosocks. The song is called Best Kind. It's an anthem. Absolutely love it. I'm glad that they submitted to have it on the show. If you have any music videos, of course, you can submit indiespotlightnl@gmail.com. Check this out. This is Jyay featuring Gettosocks with Best Kind.
I hit the airport, right, about to catch my next flight. Boarding pass, check my bag, security check, ball grab. Plane land at midnight, my whole team rolling, right? BME events, Jagger shots until I nosedive. St. John's, you know what up? Double fist, triple cup. Walk past the bouncer, beer bottle in the belt tuck. 2 for 1 shamrock, check the clock, call socks. Art and Freddie soon be on another jig, another song. Ziggy Peel, good, damn right, you know we should. I think I lost my wallet when we wiped outside the bathroom. What the hell we gonna do? Call a cab too soon, friggin' stay up all night, and Sunday dinner noon. Can I get a witness? Shout out to the fishes, reeling them in, jigging them in, just as mother wishes. We've been doing all right, Donnie dumping for the bars. Islanders living life, and we feeling best kind.
I got a fucking load of notes. I can see no show on the go to. Got no moose license. Not gonna get it though. I don't think it's here.
Who the f is Jyay?
No matter where I go, I keep coming back. Toothbrush and a hoodie in the duffel bag. Book the flights, catch a cab like let's ride. Where you to? St. John's, that's best kind. No matter where I go, I keep coming back. Toothbrush and a hoodie in a duffel bag. Book the flights, catch a cab like let's ride. Where you to? St. John's, that's best kind. Soon as the plane land, they screech them in. And you know I ain't gotta ask how my people been. It's the rock, baby. No need for talking, baby. Ride a black horse to India. Let's get it poppin', baby. Rock the show where my writers are the loyalists. And for all my boys back home from the oil rigs. Afterwards with a smoke show, watch horror flicks. Fasting, she naked in the kitchen making boiled jigs. The whole
squabble and fuck a guest list. Catch us hungover, all hands up in chests. People always asking me my favorite place to visit, so I tell them St. John's. Rest in peace, sinner. Shouts to Baytown, Chess Club, Undefined, Patty Green, J.O.G. Smooth with the rhymes. Young Dumb, Ricky Pre, Shining Wizards know the time fits. Radar, Dave Whitty, Brent Mac, best kind.
No matter where I go, I keep coming back.
Toothbrush and a hoodie and a duffel bag.
Book the flights, catch a cab, like let's ride. Where you to? St. John's, that's best kind.
No matter where I go, I keep coming back.
Toothbrush and a hoodie in the duffel bag.
Book the flights, catch a cab,
Like let's ride. Where you to?
St. John's.
That's best kind.
And what the one that claims he's the best can't catch up. Fresh and what the one that claims he's the best can't catch
Yo,
up.
Vienna sausages, best kind.
Cod cheeks and cod tongues.
That's best kind. Pineapple crush, best kind.
Blue Star.
Best kind. Lottie's White Russians, y'all know. Best kind.
Bologna sandwiches.
Best kind. Rest in peace, nigga. Best kind.
Welcome back to Indee Spotlight. I'm your host, McD. We just seen a great hip-hop video from Jyay featuring Gettosocks. Now we've got one of Newfoundland and Labrador's most insane guitar shredders, in my personal opinion. This is Chris Feener. This guy's toured all over the world. He's done so many things with so many different people. He's done parodies. He's done all kinds of crazy cool stuff. This is a serious video coming from him. This is Chris Feener with Bulletproof. Check it out. You are watching Indee Spotlight.
that's over.
Welcome back to the studio. I'm McD. This is Indee Spotlight. What a great show we've had this week. We've had Jim Jones and the Kool-Aid Jammers. We had a chat with Quote the Raven, a little bit of hip-hop from Jyay featuring Gettosocks, and of course, guitar extraordinaire Chris Feener. What an amazing show. I love this. I love this whole thing. I hope that you love it too. And if you want to have your music video featured on Indee Spotlight, make sure you send it along to indiespotlightnl@gmail.com. Anyways, I'm Mick D. We'll see you next week. That's great. I've had something on my mind that I've always wanted to discuss with music lovers and musicians of the province, and that's what the difference between mixing and mastering actually is. Maybe you'd elaborate on that.
Sure. A lot of people, sort of, the line can be a little bit blurry sometimes. So mixing is the process of taking pre-recorded tracks, so individual instruments, say, right? Individual mics, individual performances, and bundling that all together, putting it into mixing it down from multi-track, so multiple instruments, or multiple tracks, previously, strips of tape, now digital, mixing that all down to one stereo file, so basically what the end user plays. And it's combining all those tracks. It might be editing them. It might be applying compression and equalization, effects like delays and reverbs to give you, a sense of space, and other sort of creative changes. That's mixing. And mixing is, is a science, but it's also a creative process. Mastering is taking those mixes, and before that goes off to the final stage, whether it's a CD duplication plant or it goes to a streaming platform, you're sort of the last quality control person. You're the person who has the last touch, the sort of polishing touch. Generally, you don't on-mix things or change mixes, but you can affect, so you'd bring up levels, you'd bring up volumes, you might do equalization and compression, but you're talking very minute changes to mixes. So that's the largest difference, is that you're not changing the mix, or you're not trying to anyway. You're trying to take something and polish it in very small adjustments to make something sound cohesive, or make something on par with everything that's out there. There are certain broadcast standards and regulations that you kind of need to follow. But like all of this stuff, there is always room for creativity and room for doing things differently, as long as the artist is on board. I try to stay on the transparent side of mastering, so I don't affect what they're going for.
Absolutely. So you're talking about in the mixing stage, you might make big adjustments that are 6, 7, 10 dB or whatever, but in mastering, you're maybe talking about more finite, smaller micro adjustments.
Quarter of a dB.
Yeah.
Which in a mastering thing, you might actually hear that quarter of a dB. You might listen very closely for it, but exactly. I'm not bringing vocals in and out. I'm not bringing up a guitar solo. That stuff has already been done.
You're affecting the whole mix.
The whole mix. And everything I do, I got to be careful that what I do, if it's improving one thing, it's not hurting something else.
Absolutely. And that brings me into my next question, is, maybe some pointers on where things lie in the spectrum on EQ, because equalization, a lot of people use 5-band EQ, some people use 31-band EQs, and there's a lot of sonic information that sits in that spectrum. So kind of what's like a ballpark of where things lie in an EQ?
So there's a bunch of different EQs. There's your graphic equalizer, like we've all seen, you have them on your home stereo. Anything from a basic tone control, bassy, brighter, duller. Those are all types of EQ. There are parametric EQs where you can control the bandwidth of the selected frequency range, where you're boosting it, making it louder, or cutting it. There's semi-paragraphic EQs. There's dynamic EQs, which react to level changes. And I would use, you use all those in the mixing process. Likewise, you'd use all of them in the mastering process too. So every component of a sound has a fundamental frequency.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.